As we enter 2025, I thought I'd have another crack at, of course, my end-of-season predictions. Who, of course, is destined for the Premier League. Who, of course, is destined for League One. We're going to take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again in another video today. We're doing another end-of-season prediction. That's right, of course, predicting each and every one of the 24 clubs out in the Championship and where they'll end up at the end of the season in May. Will they be celebrating? Will they be commiserating? We'll take a look at all that, of course, in and more in a second. If you're new where you've been, smash your subscribe and you want to stop shop for Blackburn Rovers, World Football, Championship Football. We're going to all hear under one roof. Now, over the course of the season, I have done a few of these, stretching all the way back to May 2024 with my very, very early predictions. But today's video is going to be based off of my original main steady predictions, which was, of course, I think around about June, maybe July. All will be revealed in just a second. Of course, big shout out to the members. You know who you are. Big shout out to the Patreons. You know who you are. What we're going to do now, though, is jump into the vortex. Alrighty then, folks, here we are in the old vortex. On the left-hand side, where you have my original predictions, which, of course, was back in June, where I predicted Leeds United to go up and be champions, joined by Middlesbrough in second spot. So down the left-hand side is my original predictions. On the right-hand side, as of recording New Year's Day today, before even the games have even taken place, we've got the original placements in the table. So currently Leeds are first, which is, of course, in line with my June prediction. Middlesbrough all the way down to 6th. I did predict Plymouth to go down, 24th, and they're currently lying in 24th. You get the feeling. Have I sticked or have I moved? Well, you know, that's sort of stuff that we're going to take a look at right here, right now. So sit tight, hold on. Here we go. We're going to start with middle of the pack and then work our way down before we go and, of course, predict who will be promoted to the Premier League. Alrighty, folks, let's kick it off with, of course, picking our 13th place club. We're going to start them from left to right on this row. These guys are safe from relegation. They're going to be stuck in mid-table. I'm going to kick it off with maybe a bit of a surprise, but not really. It is Hull City, that's right. They're going to slide in there. They currently find themselves 21st. I do think the appointment of Ruben Sellers is a masterstroke for Hull City. They may not get anywhere near the playoffs this season, but he is a good young coach, exciting young coach. I think the writing's on the wall that Hull will be challenging next season with the right backing because they've got the right hire at the moment. So Hull City in there for me. Joining them in alongside them in 14th spot will be Bristol City. That's right. Liam Manning's boys are doing all right now. Where are they in the table? They're currently 10th. Of course, I did go 16th last time around. So it is a bit of an upgrade in my eyes over the course of this season. They had I think it's been a difficult start or a difficult season for Bristol City to call them right now. They've got some new faces up top, and I just still think they're trying to find their way under Manning at the moment, who has been linked with some of the bigger jobs in the Premier League and in the Championship this year. So keeping a hold of him might be the way forward if they're going to remain where they are, because a lot of clubs in and around the bottom end of the Championship have already played their wild card, which of course is a new manager. So joining Bristol City, and this is a surprise, I'm going with Norwich. That's right, they're going to be in 15th spot. They've had a woeful season in regards to injuries. The new manager, Jonas Torp, might be, I wouldn't say right now, but he's definitely got a bit of his work to do. Currently find themselves 12th. I did have them 8th, but I have them dropping all the way down to 15th right now. Injuries have been a major concern. Home form is pretty good. Away form is a bit sloppy, which of course is why they are in mid-table and not close to the playoffs. I do think they'll trail off a little bit, and maybe their mindset around Carrow Road and the new coach might be getting to them. And of course, when you think about it, Russell Martin is out there. Russell Martin, of course, formerly of Norwich, could be an option if they get a little bit sticky and the table becomes a little bit more worrying. But for me, I'm going to go with Norwich City into 15th spot. Joining them in that area will be Luton Town. That's right. I think they're waiting too long by making the decision on Ryan Edwards. Don't get me wrong, he's done wonders getting them promoted, and he's probably got a lot of credit in the bank. But when do you make that call? I had Luton Town originally as 7th. They currently find themselves all the way down into, I don't even know where they are, 19th of the table. They are moving upwards slowly. It's definitely home form is getting them out of trouble, but a couple home defeats, you just don't know. And I just think right now, when I put them, I put them into 16th spot. So they are slowly going upwards, but honestly, they might have to make that call sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, alongside them will be Preston North End. Now, don't get me wrong, Preston are a side going in the right direction. I think Paul Heckingbottom it's proven me wrong. I've always had my doubts about him. Didn't think he could cut the mustard outside of Bramall Lane, but he's making Preston North End a very difficult side to beat. So they're getting some good results, but I just feel that Preston are Preston, and they will slowly trail off a little bit. And again, I do think, just like Hull City, they've got a good coach moving forward and a good full. I know we had pretty much a full season, but a full season next season with Paul Heckingbottom, they can be more of a mid-table with a focus on maybe that top 6 side next campaign. But I think this season, not a write-off just yet, but a lot of they are running through the mud right now. It feels that it's very difficult to start going up the table. But hey, you know what? I think you're in good hands, and I think it's a cracking appointment in the end. Also down there, I'm going to go with, and again, this is a little bit a dubious one. I've gone with Millwall. That's right, Millwall. Of course, Alex Neil has now officially taken over. Of course, he's a great appointment once again, and that should be just enough to keep Millwall in the league. They are currently finding themselves in 13th spot. I did have them down in 22nd, and currently, with my prediction right here, right now, I have them in, what have I got them in there? 19th, something like that, 18th. So they should be safe, but I just think there are a lot of teams struggling right now. The Coventry's, the Luton Towns. There's a lot of clubs down there that really need to find that 3rd and 4th gear to get them out of there. And once that happens, Millwall will start to get pushed down, as will Preston. So unfortunately, I think it's not going to be as fruitful of a season as it once looked under Neil Harrison. That whole debacle of him leaving has really rocked the progress that he was making, because they were seemingly looking good for maybe a top 10 finish, maybe even higher than that. But at the moment, I think they're only going down. Alex Neil's got his work to do. He can be a frustrating manager, can Alex Neil? So they've got to hopefully get the good version of him to see them benefit in the long term. Into 19th spot, I have Derby County. That's right, the Rams. Back in the Championship, of course, this season. It was great to have them back, and they are proving to be quite a tricky team to play against. You just don't know what Derby County you're going to get. I got them coming at you in 19th spot, which is a bit of a downgrade of my original post, which is 18th, which does keep them in the league. And I think they're okay for the time being. They'll take that. They currently find themselves 16th, and again, just like Millwall, just like Preston, once Luton Town do make that call on the management situation, or he just wakes up and smells the coffee, the likes of Luton, Norwich City, Coventry City will start to really raise up the tempo and, of course, push these, including Blackburn Rovers. We're flying high right now, but once they get into gear, the cream does rise to the crop. That's what I'm trying to say, and Derby will be a part of that process. But they all stick in the division, which I think is the prime focus for them right here, right now. So 19th spot for me. Up, I have Stoke City. That's right, Stoke City. I think breaking news, just about to hire Mark Robbins. Now, Mark Robbins is a great coach, fantastic coach, but is it a little bit too soon? Of course, he had a long-term, big-time project to Coventry City where he was there for a long, long time. And now, not with, I don't even know how many months, how many weeks it was since he's left one spot and taken over another one. I think it might be a bit too soon, especially if Stoke City think they're now going to run away with the league. I don't think so. I think it's a great appointment if the board and the fans have patience. I think he'll get it right in the end. He'll turn Stoke City into a top 12, top 10, maybe even a top 8 club. But right now, I still think it's going to be a sticky old patch. I originally had Stoke all the way down into 10th. Well, that was a good start to the campaign under Schumacher, perhaps. Then they currently find themselves in 18th. I do think they're going to go back before they go forward. Don't get me wrong; it is a great appointment for Stoke City, but I just fear the fans, the board will chase them out the door before they even really gets going, and that does seem to be the case with a lot of clubs and a lot of managers. So for me, Stoke 20th. They'll still be here next season. Next up, into 21st spot, I do have Oxford United. They're going to squeak in there, of course, into 21st spot. Let's just scooch these down a hair. Oxford United into 21st. And they will, of course, stay in the division for another season. That's right. Gary Rowett knows what he's doing. A little bit hard done by to be labelled with the relegation of Birmingham last season. But given time, which he has now, we've got a good part of half a season at the Kazam. And I do think getting Oxford back to what they were at the start of the season, difficult to beat at home, and of course maybe get some good results on the road. That might be the ticket to success for Oxford United this season. They just need to be into 21st spot to hang on in there. And recently picked up a good important wins against fellow strugglers, which is what you need to do. Those are 6-pointer games. Gary Rowett has got a couple of those already in his bag. They currently find themselves in 20th, which is one better than this. But again, don't get me wrong, this great start by Rowett won't continue. But so far so good. For Gary Rowett's return to the championship. All right then, folks, let's talk about the elephant in the room. That is relegation. The 3 clubs to go down now. I don't think it's going to be too much of a shocker, but we're going to go with 22nd place now. That is, according to me, Portsmouth. I thought they would hang on, but I think they're going to get bitten in the ass in the end. Currently find themselves in 23rd. I did originally have them in 12th. Their home form is key to their success. They have not pulled the wild card just yet. They've stuck with the manager, of course. When will that become too drastic a situation? Because they do have that up their hands. You know, when you look at Oxford, Stoke, Millwall, even Preston, all are making the decision to pull their manager. And of course, even the likes of some clubs on the brink of maybe doing it for a second time. So Portsmouth yet to do it. They're sticking with Mousinho. I think it's going to be between them and Oxford for that final spot, but I've got currently Oxford remaining in there because of Gary Rowett's nous in this division. And I do think I am scared as a Rovers fan to play Portsmouth at Fratton Park. I think it's an intimidating venue to be, and hopefully that will be the key to their success, is to make it more of a fortress and then get more wins. But currently I do see them going down because of their start to the season. Joining them will be Cardiff City. That's right. They've also pulled the fast card on the coach. Earl Bullitt was the coach at the start of the season. They made the decision to sack him. They didn't really replace him, to be fair with you. They went with the interim, Omoritza, and they stuck with him. They stuck with him, and that makes a bit of a balmy call in my eyes. Of course, I did have Cardiff currently originally in 21st spot, which would have just survived another season, but currently into 22nd. I have them going down even further to 23rd. Because I just feel that they're not going to do anything, and they're going to make changes on the coaching staff again. I think they're going to ride their luck with Omoritza to see if he can save them from the season. That shows lack of ambition. It just shows where they are at as a club at the moment. So they're going to go down, and they'll be joined by Too Little Too Late. No longer Wayne Rooney FC. It'll be Plymouth Argyle. It looks like could be Schumacher coming back to save the Green Army, which will be a good appointment. Might get a couple of results, but I think the writing's on the wall. So the writing's been on the wall for the past couple of seasons, to be fair, for Plymouth. They've got a couple of sellable assets, which they may need to move on in the January window, which will just weaken them. And I just fear that Plymouth will go down, and it'll be sad because I think their fan base is amazing, as is that of Portsmouth. There'll be a loss to the league. Let's move up into 12th spot, and then shall we? And we're going into the top half of the table. Again, I'm not I'm a bit stunned by this, but it'll be Coventry. They will be into 12th spot. I'm going to put them right there in the end. Frank Lampard FC these days. Again, a balmy decision to get rid of Robbins. Coventry have been notoriously slow starters, and I think they made the wrong call, double wrong call. The wrong call getting rid of Robbins. And I don't think Frank Lampard is cut out to be a manager. I think his reputation as a player really exceeds his qualities as a manager, and I think they'll finish in mid-table. And I don't know if that's going to be good enough for Coventry. Originally had them in 6th. Currently, they find themselves into 15th. It is an upgrade on 3 positions at the moment, but not too much more than that. Into 11th spot, I've gone with the Swans. That's right, Swansea City. I just need to change the graphic here a little bit because it's a little bit too dark to see. I've got them in 11th. Which is decent. Again, originally I had them struggling into 17th spot. They currently find themselves in 9th. Again, Cream will rise to the top a little bit here. And of course, Swansea they should be happy with mid-table for the time being, considering, coach is pretty new to the Championship. He seems to have made the transition very well. And I just think it's a steady progress. Continued progress with Swansea. And they're in good hands at the moment. Into 10th, we go QPR. That's right, Cifuentes. What a up and down season he's had. Originally had them in 15th. They currently find themselves in 17th, but I do see them rising to the top. They're one of the early door movers in the transfer market, bringing in Ronnie Edwards from Southampton, a decent solid defender, which will only make QPR more difficult to beat. They have shown qualities at home and, of course, made it difficult to play against some of the big boys. I think 10th spot is the ceiling for QPR right now. I don't think they can get better than that, but considering where they are right here, right now, 17th spot, they'll take that all day long. So 10th spot for me for QPR. Into 9th spot, it will be Sheffield Wednesday. That's right. I have Danny Rolls' boys into just outside the playoffs, 9th spot. Currently, they find themselves in 11th. I originally had them in 11th. I'm making them a little bit more difficult to beat. They've been showing true grit and determination in a lot of games. The most recent game against Preston was probably the exception to the rule. But, you know, the 3-3 thriller against Middlesbrough, some real good, strong results by Danny Roll and Sheffield Wednesday, who continues to be linked with bigger jobs, bigger opportunities. And that is a problem for some of these teams that have got good managers and, of course, are punching above their weight to say, you know what I mean? So Danny Roll will probably get linked with further jobs, maybe an Ipswich Town job, maybe something else will come a cropper in the Premier League, or maybe even in mid-table West Bromwich Albion. Will he want to switch there from one weird ship to another? No disrespect. But Danny Roll's boys doing great into 9th. Into 8th spot it is, unfortunately, my beloved Blackburn Rovers. It is Rovers. We know what we're doing. I think at the start of the season you would have taken this. I had them at 14th. They currently find themselves in 5th. I would like to be proven wrong, but we usually start to squirm and sink this time of the year. Don't get me wrong, I do look at the division as it is right now with the likes of Norwich, Luton, Hull City even, some big boys struggling, and I think maybe this is an opportunity for Rovers, and it is, don't get me wrong, but I think 8th place realistically is a cracking season for Rovers under limited resources and a bit of a transitional season. You know, no Smodic these days, we've had to make do with what we've got. And it all comes down to the investment with Blackburn Rovers. If we do bring in some quality players, then who knows, we might be able to tread water a little bit in those playoffs and give us a little bit of hope. But ultimately, we've got to be realistic, and realistic for Blackburn Rovers is 8th in my eyes. Into 7th place, and this is a weird one as well. Just outside the playoffs, we are going for West Bromwich Albion right now. Currently managerless, but as I did look at the odds for the recent managers or who could be next in line, I wasn't blown away by them, and I think that's going to be the benefit of their ultimate downfall. I think Carlos Cobahan would have got them in the playoffs no matter what, and Valencia have got themselves a cracking new head coach. West Brom will take a slump on this one, and this might be not only part one of a two-part failure. I think they will miss out on the playoffs with this, albeit it might be just, but I don't think they'll do much better than this next season. So I think they've lost one of their biggest assets they've had in a while, and that's Carlos Cobahan. I think the league has lost one of the biggest assets in a while, and that's Carlos Cobahan switching to Championship for La Liga. Into the top 6 we go now, and it will be Sunderland. They're going to squeak into the top 6, but only 6th. So they'll be in the playoffs, of course, and they'll put their hands in the fate of the lottery, which is the playoffs. They currently find themselves, where are they in the league? 4th, something like that. I did originally have them in 13th. So a good first season for Reggie Lebris. You're going to take it, I think, realistically. I don't think top 2 is doable. Playoffs is definitely the main agenda for Sunderland, and right now they're on track to do just that. They'll be joined in there alongside them. This is the spot. There is one spot I think up for grabs in the playoffs. I've got Watford in there in 5th. They currently find themselves in 7th. I had them all the way down to 20th originally. I just think Cleverley's grinding out some results here. They're going under the radar somewhat, are Watford. No one's really tipped them to do well. In fact, a lot of people like me tipped them to struggle. But they're currently 7th. I think they'll just grind in there at the expense of a West Brom. And maybe, even as a Blackburn Rovers fan, at the expense of us. I think you could even probably flip-flop those around. Sunderland to 5th, Watford in the 6th. I just think Watford will do it in the end. Into 4th place, I've gone, what have I gone? I've gone Middlesbrough. I originally had them in 2nd. They have the goals. They have the quality. This is the moment. I think Matey Boy might be running out of time, Carrick, to deliver the goods. But I got Middlesbrough in there in 4th. But into 3rd place, it will be Burnley. That's right. They might lose a couple of assets, Burnley. Trafford might go. A couple of other ones might go as well. Will they replace them? That is the key question. That I don't know. I don't know if they will replace quality for quality. And I think, to be honest with you, Burnley will just miss out. It won't be a country mile. It won't be like by 10 points. It might be by 2 or 3 points, or maybe even goal difference will put them into third place. And they will, of course, put their hands, just like Sunderland, just like Watford and Middlesbrough, into the hands of the lottery. That's right. That's the playoffs. And, of course, will they get it right that time? Who knows? Of course, that's a story for another day. And then into the top two. Which way do I do it? It is, of course, glory, Yorkshire. I've gone second place. It will be Sheffield United. I think Chris Wilder does what he does at Sheffield United. He can't really succeed anywhere else. He is what I thought Paul Heckingbottom would be, and just a success at Sheffield United. Take him out of the club, and I think he's just a mid-manager. Put him in Sheffield United, he just bleeds red and white stripes. Leeds do have the strongest squad. They have the best manager, I think, in the division. And of course, now that Cos Cohan is gone, but they will be top spot. And hopefully, it will start after New Year's Day. That's right, because they do take on Blackburn Rovers today. So that's my completed end of season predictions. I have Portsmouth, Cardiff and Plymouth going down. Leeds, Sheffield United going to the Premier League. It'll be Burnley, Middlesbrough, Watford and Sunderland go into the playoffs. And that is it, guys. What are your thoughts? Let me know your opinions down below as we look forward to the end of the season. We broke the back of it now. We might do another one of these at the end of the transfer window, but this is how I'm feeling right now, of course. Until then, subscribe, smash the like. Catch you later. We're done.